So this video is being published on May the 4th, which is Star Wars Day. And because of that, I want to talk about Disney, who owns Star Wars, and a massive business mistake that they are making when they absolutely should be winning. But here's the kicker. A lot of us are doing this, not just in our professional lives, but we're doing it in our personal lives too. And it's a mistake that you need to avoid. So how is Disney screwing this up? Well, they are ignoring their loyal fan bases. And this isn't just my opinion. They literally have had their leaders come out and say, like, hey, we're really focused with some of our new content on the new generation. And they have made it explicitly clear that they really don't care about their loyal fans that have spent thousands of dollars on park tickets and movies and streaming, subscriptions and collectibles and toys and all these things over the decades. They just don't care anymore. And they're saying that. One of the most obvious things that they could be doing is at Star Wars Land in Disney, they didn't even have Darth Vader walking around. One of the most recognizable fictional characters. Why? Because they viewed that as just the old fan base and they only wanted to appeal to the new ones. And guess what? Ticket sales have been plummeting. The new movies that are coming out, they're falling to pieces. Like they're going to set historically bad box office records. People are abandoning it. Even a big geek like me, I used to just de facto, if a Star Wars thing was coming out on TV or in the movies, I'd just go see it. But the stuff has been so bad holistically. There's been a couple bright spots. It's been so bad that they've lost my loyalty. And now they have to earn it back. And that takes a lot more work than it does just maintaining the relationship. And here's the thing, we do the same thing. As entrepreneurs and executives, there's 3 different areas in our lives where we can start to fail the loyalty test because we can get distracted by shiny objects, or maybe we get a little too greedy and we try to, go do something else, or maybe we just get bored with the things and people that have been involved in our life for so long. So the first and most obvious one is your existing clients, the ones that have been with you for a long time. They got you to where you are today. And it's very natural and even healthy for businesses to be looking at new ways to innovate, how to bring in new clients, different things like that. I'm not saying that's not what we should be doing, but it has to be done in a calculated way that doesn't totally abandon your loyal fan base that got you here. And a lot of times what ends up happening is we spend so much time, energy, attention, money, and soul investing into new markets and new audiences that we end up cutting out people that have been a part of our journey for so long. I'll never forget when I was working in management consulting, we used to have these huge events and things were a little tight economically, so they were cutting back on things. And I would take, these C-level executives to these events. And one of the things that we noticed was that the food was absolutely terrible. And notoriously, it had been really good. It was actually one of the things people really look forward to. Well, people didn't go to these conferences for the food. They came there to hear the analysts and the experts talk about all the trends and, give them data so they can make these massive multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar decisions. Well, what ends up happening is when I start talking to my clients about, how the event went and what they thought afterwards, they just kept complaining about the food. The food was terrible. It was disgusting. It wasn't good, blah, blah, blah. Just that small thing ruined the entire experience for them. Something as small as that, because our company started cutting corners and stopped caring about some of the things that just makes the experience feel so much better than it was. So that's something that's really important. Whenever we're looking to go do something, it's important to remember how we are checking in on our existing clients and how they're feeling during any time that we're trying to make a transition. The second biggest area where we can really take loyalty for granted is in our relationships. So we see this in marriages, long-time friendships, even with children as they get older. And what happens, especially in marriage, when we say these vows to each other and we take these oaths, all of a sudden, after years and years of being together, we can just kind of be like, they're not going anywhere. They're always going to be here. And we take that for granted. Now it should be until death do you part. It's important for that, but that's not the reality, because if all of a sudden I stop paying attention to my wife and I stop asking her for her opinion, or I ask for her opinion and then I just never follow through or do anything with it, and I stop doing the things that make her feel loved, well, then guess what? That relationship is going to fade and eventually it's going to be destroyed. So it's incredibly important that we remember that just because somebody is loyal to us, just because somebody loves us, does not give us the right to totally ignore that and expect that loyalty to last forever. Now, this third one's a little different, but stick with me on this. The other area where I see where we really give up on loyalty is to the fundamentals that brought us success in something in the first place. So whether that's, certain types of outreach that you did in order to make your sales really effective, or maybe, it's a gym routine that you've been doing for 3 to 4 days a week that's kept you in peak condition all this time. A lot of times what ends up happening is in our own lives, we just get bored with those things because we've done them so often, despite the fact that they work and that they're going really well. And then we get shiny object syndrome, and then we just go try new things. And maybe they work as well and maybe they don't. But that's what happens a lot of times because we're human. We get bored with the things that we're comfortable with. And a lot of times we'll abandon them, even though our loyalty to those fundamentals ultimately brought us a lot of success in the first place. So here's my question. Where in your life, both personally and professionally, have you been taking advantage of the people that are loyal to you there? And what would it look like if you were to just blow their minds away by doing something really special for them? What would that do? Whatever that thing is that popped in your head, go do it right now, because it's so much easier to strengthen the bond with the people that are loyal to you than to go out and find new ones and build that relationship to get to the point where they'd be just as loyal.